Trying to decide between Crested Butte or Ridgway, Colorado. Both of these towns offer stunning mountain backdrops, strong communities, and endless outdoor activities. But day-to-day living may be completely different in each of these mountain towns. Today, we're going to break down the differences between the two in 8 different categories. And some of them may surprise you. All right, number 1 is location and accessibility. So Crested Butte is pretty remote. It is at the end of the road on Highway 135. You come to the end of 135 and there's Crested Butte and that's it. There's some back road adventures to be had from there, but they are seasonal access. The nearest airport is going to be a regional airport, and that's in Gunnison, which is about 30 minutes away. Denver is going to be about 4.5 hours away. So if you're looking for convenience of big box stores and lots of shopping, Crested Butte is definitely not going to have this for you. Now, you'll have some small mom and pop shops, which are amazing in their own right, but if you are the Home Depot type or the Lowe's or Target, then Crested Butte's not going to be it. Ridgway, on the other hand, is along 550, Highway 550, on the way to Telluride. Big box stores there, you're going to head to Grand Junction on 550, and you will you'll have all the big box stores you could ever dream of. Sam's, Home Depot, Lowe's. So distance-wise, as far as airport and accessibility, Montrose is going to be your stop of where it's going to be a regional airport for you to fly in and out of. Grand Junction, which again, if you're heading there to go shopping, is a little bit quicker than it would be if you were in Crested Butte and needing to go to Denver. But Grand Junction will have some more flights coming in and out of that airport. Number 2 is outdoor lifestyle and activities. Crested Butte is the mecca of mountain biking. It's also a ski town, which Ridgway is not. And in Crested Butte, you're gonna have powder days and backcountry skiing and more hiking trails than you know what to do with. So you really are living in nature in Crested Butte. Not to say that Ridgway you're not, but you do have access to some pretty cool mountain adventures like ice climbing in Ouray, and Telluride Ski Resort is about an hour away. So it's a little bit of a toss-up. If you really like to live your days at the resort and you like skiing, then Crested Butte is going to be the place for you. If that's not so important to you and you still like the outdoors and access to hiking trails, and they have a lake nearby there in Ridgway, similar to Crested Butte with us in the Blue Mesa, then Ridgway might be the spot for you if the leading factor is not skiing and skiing at a resort. Number 3 is real estate. So in Crested Butte right now, the cost per square footage to build, or really some existing homes, especially on the newer side of existing homes, they're about $1,000 to $1,200 a square foot. So your money is not going to take you as far as it would in Ridgway. In Ridgway, you're going to have a little bit more space, a little bit more spread out, but again, it's that ski factor playing into the real estate here, where the closer you are to a ski resort, the more expensive it's going to be. With Crested Butte being Crested Butte Mountain Resort right there in downtown, only 3 minutes away from Mount Crested Butte, which is where the ski resort is located, you can kind of see that pricing difference between Ridgway, which is an hour away from Telluride. So you do get a little bit more bang for your buck in Ridgway. And I would almost compare that to Gunnison. So Gunnison, which is closer to Crested Butte, so if that's something that you're considering and Ridgway is off the list, then maybe consider Gunnison, which you're gonna get a little bit more, your money's gonna go further and you're gonna get a little bit more square footage and a little bit more acreage than you would in Crested Butte. Okay, number 4 is community and the vibe. So what is it like in Crested Butte and what is it like in Ridgway? Crested Butte is more like ski town meets mountain hippie, where you're gonna brush shoulders with ultra athletes or entrepreneurs or people that are retired and they've moved on to another creative career like photography or being an artist. You're gonna have more of a seasonal flow where the summers and the winters are busier and the shoulder season in the fall and the spring are slower. Ridgway, on the other hand, is gonna feel more year-round. There's more wide open spaces and more ranches around the town, and you're not gonna have that seasonal flow that you would if you were in Crested Butte. It's just gonna be more year-round. Now, if you go to Ouray is gonna give a little bit more of a vibe. We'll talk about that one day. But Telluride, on the other hand, is similar to Crested Butte, where it's a ski area. So you're gonna get that vibe as well as far as the flow of the seasonality. Restaurant-wise, you're gonna have more restaurants in Crested Butte than you would in Ridgway. And I'd suffice to say that might be changing a bit. The last time I was in Ridgway, I noticed a lot more new restaurants and up-and-coming restaurants. And so I think that that's a little bit of a toss-up if that's your leading factor there. Okay, what about culture and festivals and things going on? So this is number 5 on the list. So I would say that both towns are gonna offer some of that funky mountain festivals. Ridgway, you're gonna be closer to Telluride's festivals, so you'll have that benefit of the Blues and Brews that happen in Telluride every year. Crested Butte, we're having more wine and food festivals, we have the Wildflower Festival and, lots of art festivals that are happening here. So I would say you're probably gonna get more festival vibe up in Crested Butte, whereas in Ridgway, you'll have a couple of those throughout the year, but not as many as you would in Crested Butte. So if that's your vibe, then head on up to Crested Butte. If you like a little bit of a slower pace and that's not really important, then stick to Ridgway. Number 6 is tourism and short-term rentals. So if you've heard me say this before, short-term rentals are definitely a hot topic. It will continue to be that way, I think, as long as housing is in a crunch and there's low inventory, which is definitely the case for both of these mountain towns. However, Crested Butte is more of a tourist-based economy, whereas Ridgway, I don't believe that it is as tourist-based. They definitely do have some tourism from second homeowners and people in short-term rentals there. There's no doubt about that. But Crested Butte, it's gonna be more in your face of short-term rentals, ski area, mountain destination. Ridgway, you definitely get some of that overflow if people aren't going to stay in Ouray per se, or they're not wanting to stay in Telluride. Ridgway is more of a happy medium and more of an affordable place to rent short-term for vacations where you're more centralized and kind of can bounce off of both towns. Crested Butte, completely different. End of the road, you're here, you're mixing with the short-term rental vacationers and the heavy flow of tourism. Number 7, pace and day-to-day living. What is that like in each of these towns? Ridgway, I find to be a little bit slower and more laid back, where tourism is not quite in your face, more year-round residents, where Crested Butte is gonna be quick seasons and slow off seasons. So what that means is that rush of people come into town for the majority of the summer months. They kind of trickle out of town in September and October and November, and then here we are back in our cycle again for the ski season. Lots of people come into town. It's much slower in April and May. I do find that Ridgway can be a little bit slower during these off seasons just because, there's limited activities during, especially the spring to, kind of get out. You're kind of in this in between. It's not winter anymore, it's not summer yet, and it's a little bit harder to get out on the trails. But as far as like pace, I find that Crested Butte is a lot busier than Ridgway. Number 8, so which town do you choose? So the way I see it is that Crested Butte is more for your people who really want that mountain lifestyle, living near a ski resort or in a ski resort. And you could also be a retiree, you can be second homeowners, or you're an investor that's looking to short-term rent their place and use it a couple of times a year. Or people that also want to live here year-round and just really want access to and quick access to outdoor activities, and that is year-round outdoor activities. Ridgway, on the other hand, is much slower. Some retirees, families are moving and locating to Ridgway, and another benefit to Ridgway is that, and for that particular buyer, is maybe someone wants to be close to a ski resort, but they don't want the ski resort price tag. All right, so which town is right for you? Only you can decide that. Both offer great amenities, great things about, outdoor lifestyle for each of them. There's nothing bad to say about either, really. Living in Colorado has some really cool mountain towns, and both of these fall into that category of really cool mountain towns. I'm Heather Woodward with Living in Crested Butte, Colorado. If you've been thinking about making a move to Gunnison, Crested Butte, or anywhere on the Western Slope, be sure and hit that subscribe button so that you can stay in the know with videos just like this. I cover lifestyle, I cover real estate, and what it's really like to live here in the mountains. And whether you're moving here in 6 days from now, 60 days from now, or 6 months from now, I'm here to make your move exactly the way you want it to be. All of my contact information is down below, so be sure and reach out. Until next time. Okay, so it looks like you're making a move to the Crested Butte and Gunnison area. So you're trying to decide which video to watch. You could watch this one, or you could watch this one, or you could watch both, because they're both going to help you out and they're both really good. But go ahead and pick one.